So, what does this change mean for BC, if anything? For more on that, we're joined by Ravi Kahlon. He is BC's Jobs Minister. Minister, thanks for being here.
Dan, thanks so much for having me.
What do you make of this move by the Prime Minister?
Well, it was a bit of a surprise to us, and it's a little too soon to tell. Use a ice hockey analogy, whether this is about regrouping our own end with the puck or whether this is pulling the goalie. Time will tell. Our focus and what the Premier has been clear with the Prime Minister on is that we want to make sure that we have 8 months to a year while we're renegotiating CUSMA. Our priority needs to be, our focus needs to be around strengthening our local economy, making sure we move into provincial trade barriers, doing everything that we can do to make sure that we're in a strong position for those negotiations.
So, the Prime Minister said despite the ongoing trade war and U.S. tariffs on steel, aluminum, autos, copper, lumber, and energy, 85% of the trade with the U.S. is still tariff-free, still a better deal than other countries have. We know that our province is feeling the pain of lumber tariffs. How do you respond to this idea that perhaps we're just getting the best of a bad deal?
Well, that would be a fair comment if every jurisdiction had a trade agreement with the U.S., and that's not the case. Canada, we had a trade agreement with the U.S., and so yes, our agreement is better perhaps than other jurisdictions in the world, but not every jurisdiction around the world had a trade agreement with the U.S. If you look at forestry in particular and the duties that they're putting on place on forest products, this is going to hurt American workers just as much as it's going to hurt Canadian workers. The idea that somehow the U.S. is going to have enough forest products to be able to meet their need for housing just in the U.S. is crazy. Even the president himself, I don't think, believes that to be the case. And so they're going to see higher prices on housing. They're going to see higher prices for all their goods. In fact, that cost is just being passed on to them right now, but it's also going to have an impact on workers in British Columbia. And so our concern and our message to the Prime Minister has been, we're going to give you space to negotiate. This is a Team Canada effort we're partaking in, but we need to do the work at home. We need to support our workers, our forest workers. We need to invest in clean tech and expand the Northwest Transmission Line so we can unlock more projects and see more opportunities for people here in British Columbia and across the country.
We also asked BC Conservative leader John Rustad what he thinks of this move by the Prime Minister. Here's part of his answer. I'd want you to respond to it.
With regards to softwood, it's never been included in the trade deals with the Americans. It has been ignored now for 9 years under the NDP government here in British Columbia, and our softwood industry is on the verge of collapse. It is in really tough shape right now. So what's needed? We need to be able to come at this with a position of strength. Right now, the Americans are holding all the cards, and there's nothing that we can do to be able to get a deal. So in order to do that, what we should do is we should start by putting a tariff on thermal coal being exported out of Vancouver from the Americans. And if Donald Trump wants to push back on that, fine, then we'll just ban sending their coal off the Port of Vancouver entirely. It's time to get tough with Donald Trump.
Minister, what do you think of Mr. Rustad's suggestion there about banning U.S. thermal coal?
Well, first off, he's got a selective memory. Clearly, he's forgotten that the duties that have been imposed on BC forest products started when he was actually in government, a minister in government, and nothing was done to address it at that time. What I hear from the opposition leader is that he wants to take more action, more steps to sanctions on the U.S. And I get that. I too feel like we should be doing more, but at the same time, we're not at the table negotiating right now with the U.S. government. The federal government is, and what we have put in place is strong measures around alcohol, which is having an impact on the U.S. We're hearing that from governors across the U.S. that it's actually having an impact. And what we're doing right now is giving the federal government some space to have these important discussions in the negotiations that are going forward. Now, what we can be doing is strengthening our economy. And I've mentioned this before. We've got a lot of mining projects that are ready to go. We've got clean energy projects that are ready to go. What we need from the federal government is to start making those investments at home, because the stronger we are, the better position they will be in those discussions that are going on between our officials.
Just before we wrap up, Minister, in light of these changes and picking up on what you said, would BC consider changing its ban on American alcohol, given the changes that we're seeing from Ottawa?
Well, we're not making any changes. And, Dan, even if we made a change, Americans have been pretty clear. I don't think they would be buying those U.S. alcohol products. We're seeing Canadians, British Columbians responding, not traveling to the U.S. People are speaking with their dollars. At this time, we're not making any changes. We don't have as much faith, say, as the federal government does right now, that the Trump administration is going to cooperate or play ball. And if the case comes, if the point comes where we do get an agreement, where we're addressing the softwood tariff, we're addressing the pressures on aluminum, where we're coming away feeling that we have a good deal, then we'll take the next steps on alcohol from the U.S.
Lastly, Minister, we appreciate your time. The Prime Minister also said, quote, the Canadian government will soon select the first in a series of new nation-building projects that will connect and transform our economy. We've heard a lot about this. What does BC want him to build, and what could be built in BC?
Well, we've got billions of dollars of infrastructure projects ready to go. The Northwest Transmission Line is key in order to get power up into the interior, up into the north, so we can unlock mining projects, unlock a huge amount of economic development opportunities, and produce the cleanest products in the world. So that is one. We've talked to them about infrastructure to unlock the trade corridors. We know, and we hear this from premiers across the country, now that we're moving trade away from the U.S. and we're starting to move it towards Asia and other partners, BC is going to play a critical role in enabling that trade to flow through our ports. So there's a lot of projects that we think fit the bill. The Premier has had those conversations with the Prime Minister, and we look forward to hearing from them on which ones they believe should be prioritized.
Ravi Kahlon, BC's Jobs Minister. Thanks for your time, Ravi.
Thank you so much, Dan.